Are you struggling to get your finances in order? Do you find yourself living paycheck to paycheck and then wondering where all the money goes? Well, you're not alone. Many people struggle with managing their finances, but today, we're here to help you take control.
A penny saved is a penny earned. Sounds so simple, right? This proverb about budgeting is very powerful. It serves a reminder that small, consistent savings and budget can have profound effect on your financial health. I just want to put it out there that when I initially started budgeting, it was more out of guilt or a reaction out of my prior spending habits. I rarely had anything to put into my savings, or actually I didn't even have an emergency fund. What I'm actually getting to at is that I started budgeting out of guilt because of my prior spendings. Because honestly, budgeting was not taught to me at home or even in schools for that matter. Have you ever had that kind of thought? I mean, I can't be the only one who feels this way. But once I started using budgeting, this amazing process, I quickly realized the benefit of its application. Budgeting is about taking control of your money, making conscious decisions, and then prioritizing your goals. Making a budget allowed me to take charge and plan for expenses rather than money situations happening to me. Trust me, that takes a lot of stress out of money management. As you prioritize your goals, you save for the things which are important to you, you save for your future, and you still have money left over for the fun things in life. It's almost like having an assistant who keeps you on track of your spending and makes you make smart decisions, all right? So no more feeling ashamed or guilty about your money habits. Let's learn about this amazing process called budgeting and in turn, take control of your finances and your life, all right? So what's the first step? The first step is know your goal. The first step is to realizing what your goal is. I mean, if you don't have an emergency fund, the first thing is going to be make one. Depending on your age or income status, you could think about how much money you want to put into your retirement accounts so that you can pull out of it after retirement, or if you even want to just max it out altogether. Or do you want to pay out a particular kind of debt? For example, credit card debt, which is the worst kind of debt, by the way. So yeah, I would prioritize getting rid of that first. So this way you'll be able to retro engineer. So let's say you have to save this much money for this thing which is happening on this day. So you have this much time, weeks or months. So you divide that much money by the weeks or months. So you know that I need to save this much money every week or every month to be able to reach that goal. That makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
I know a lot of this must feel like common sense, but trust me, consciously thinking about it makes a big difference.
And these goals will be very subjective. My goals will be different from yours, and yours will be different from your neighbors. So you will have to sit down, take a breather, and understand and realize and even write down what your goals are. Having clear-cut goals will help you stay focused and on track, and also help you stick to your budget. By the way, shout out to all the Slytherin fans here. Step number 2, know your finances. Now, take a close look at your pay stubs, your bank statement and other bills and other sources of incomes and determine what your after-tax income is. I want to focus here that we're not talking about pre-tax because ultimately we'll be diving into our post-tax money for spending. So it has to be after-tax. And then, to the best of your capacity, look at the last month or if possible, the last few months' expenses, which could be fixed expenses like rent, utilities, any loan payments, as well as variable expenses like groceries, dining out, and entertainment. Just jot down everything. Step number 3. Now we're coming down to the actual meat and potatoes of this plan, making your budget. So one popular strategy is the 50-30-20 rule. This method suggests that you divide your after-tax money into 3 broad categories, which will be 50% for needs, where you will allocate 50% of your income towards essential expenses, such as rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation, and healthcare. 30% for wants, which means reserving 30% of your income for discretionary spendings, which will be non-essential expenses like dining out, entertainment, hobbies, and vacations. I mean, these are important, but not essential. And then finally, commit 20% of your income towards building savings, paying off debt, and investing for the future. Differentiating between needs and wants is crucial for a successful budget. You need to be honest with yourself and then go back to the list of expenses that we made in step 2, and I want you to then differentiate those expenses between either needs or wants. Needs are the ones without which you will not be able to survive. You'll have a very hard time. And then wants are, like I said, more discretionary, that you can go without it for weeks or months.
I know, again, this sounds like a lot of common sense, but please write down all the expenses, because otherwise it's pretty easy for your wants to creep into the needs subconsciously.
Now remember, this 50-30-20 split is very subjective. Depending on your age, your financial situation, and your personal goals, it could be 60-20-20 or 50-20-30. The goal with this video is not for me to tell you how much money you need to spend in which category, rather to provide you with the information so that you can make your own budget, make your own informed decision in which category you need to spend how much, make a budget, and then stick to it. By the way, if you don't already have one, build an emergency fund. It is crucial for financial stability. I would prioritize in the 20% savings category. Most places will say that for an emergency fund, you need to be saving 3 to 6 months of expenses. I would actually challenge that, and I would say you should be probably saving more like 6 to 12 months, because you never know how long you might be laid off or what the situations might be. Your health situation might change. So taking all of that into consideration, I would push for 6 to 12 months. And that money, I would ideally put that in a high interest rate savings account. So now moving on, tracking your budget is almost as important as making your budget. This is going to be in a separate video, but for now, you could make an Excel spreadsheet to track your budget. You could even use some of the budgeting apps which are out there, or you could just use a simple pen and paper. The bottom line is, diligently record all of your expenses and then try to find out where you can cut back and make some adjustments. Now, step 4, if not equally important, maybe even more important than the prior steps, is to continuously fine-tune your budget to suit your financial needs. I want you to remember that budgeting is not a one-time thing. I mean, you can't be like, all right, I made the budget and that's it. No. You have to keep going back to your budget and then keep on fine-tuning depending on what you're spending. Your income might change, your expenses might change, your needs might change. So every month, every week, go back to that initial chalkboard and keep changing things. Keep making perfect. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but keep on changing it so that your goals, you are on track to getting your goals. And I'm going to give you a few tips regarding that. So the first one is going to be know yourself. What do I mean by that? I mean that you need to be honest with yourself and make a realistic budget. If you make a too ideal of a budget, or you make a budget taking into account the perfect version of yourself, you're gonna have a hard time sticking to that budget. So let me give you an example. So let's say on your way to work every morning, you stop at Starbucks and you get a grande nitro cold brew. That perks up your day, it makes your morning, it makes you happy. No need to take that out of your budget to make room for a few more dollars in your budget. Rather, find ways to keep it in your budget. Also here, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about minimalism, which was the thing a couple of years ago on YouTube. I'm not sure if it still is or not. I mean, I understand that you need to decrease your spending, but I feel like you still need to spend money on things that make you happy. I mean, within reason, of course. So more than minimalism, I believe in being mindful. Be mindful of your finances, be mindful of your expenses, and then join them together and make a solid foundational budget, and then stick to it. Next, emphasize savings. Treat your 20% saving as a fixed expense. Try to automate it if possible. This way you will not be tempted to spend the money earmarked for your future. Next is prioritize your spending. In your wants, remember, you cannot buy everything. Your budget is allocated, 30% which is allocated is fixed. You don't want to go overboard from that 30%. So in your list of the wants, you need to prioritize. All right, what do I want first? For example, I would prioritize a trip to Disney World with my family over, let's say, expensive furniture. I mean, IKEA works just as fine. Next tip, reduce your expenses. Find ways to reduce your spendings in the 30% category so that you can put more money into the 20% category. And lastly, I want to emphasize this point again. Review your budget every month, because again, your income might change, your expenses might change, your goals might change. So I want you to review and adjust your budget every single month. Keep track of your financial goals and celebrate the milestones which you achieve. Seeing your progress will motivate you further to stick to your budget. As an anesthesiology trainee up until a few weeks ago, I was earning around $3,500 to $4,000 post-tax, of course. And with that, I was still able to save up at least like 7 to 8 months of emergency fund. And I want to say I had a commendable saving with some real estate and stock market portfolio with maxing out my Roth IRA. So if you guys are interested in finding out how I allocated my budget and how I was able to make those allocations, please let me know in the comment section below. Congratulations, you guys are now equipped with the knowledge to make a strong and effective budget. Remember, budgeting is a powerful tool. It gives you control of your finances, and you can then prioritize achieving your goals. So start budgeting today and see your savings grow. All right, guys. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with friends and family who you think might benefit from this video. Thanks for watching, and until later, be smart and invest safe.